Here we go. Yeah. It's time to listen up because this show's about to get you right. Settle in cause you be tuning into a jiu-jitsu life. Get into the nitty and gritty of what the game's about. What it's really like when you get paid to fight and train for bouts. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it on louder. About to drop some knowledge, yo, it's Dominguez, Shawn, Fowler. About to give it to you straight, y'all, no filler. Pulling no punches, really couldn't get no realer. I'm a flow spiller, recognize that no one's illa. Keep it locked right on this episode because it's gonna be killer. Elite technique with the flows to get you hyped. I thought you knew with Shawn and Drew, the crew of a jiu-jitsu life.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Shawn Fowler, 5 Grappling, FIVE365 Studios. I'm here today with Drew Dominguez. What's up, guys?
Good morning, good morning.
And we're in the house with none other than Tarsis Humphreys. What's up, Tarsis? How are you today?
I'm doing awesome. How you guys doing?
Outstanding, man. So, go. Let's get to it.
Let's do it. Okay.
We're after some stuff today.
You know, we were talking a little while before we started recording. You've been with Alianse since you started as a white belt.
Yes.
Correct? White belt all the way to black belt. Nowadays, you don't see that. You got a lot of guys that might join the new academy as a purple belt, some brown, some blue, but you've actually been with Fabio from white to black.
Yeah.
And you've been competing for many, many years. Do you feel any extra pressure carrying the Alianse flag on you for so long?
No, not at all. I just feel like it's an amazing team. You know, I'm very lucky to be part of the team since 1997 and be a student of under Fabio Gurgel. I'm just very lucky because he's an awesome professor. He's an amazing businessman, amazing person too. And I'm just blessed to be able to start from zero with Fabio.
So you've been with Fabio for 20 years?
Yeah,
23.
23,
23,
yeah.
dude.
It's 97.
23.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's deep.
Yeah, I got a lot of phases in jiu-jitsu. Like, I got like when I started to do jiu-jitsu, it was pretty nice, and then we got like some problems in Brazil. You know, like some people that come and learn some moves here or there, and then start to get in fights in the parties, and then we have some problems with Macaco and Ryan Gracie at the time. They used to hate each other and fight all the time. And then we got like a really, really bad reputation about jiu-jitsu. So people come to me and like ask, oh, what do you do? And I train jiu-jitsu. I'm an athlete from jiu-jitsu. And they, okay, bye. Like kind of intimidated, like, oh, this guy's trouble. And then I need to, you know, like, no, wait. Like I'm an athlete. I'm not a fighter. I don't fight on the street. And it took a lot of time, a long time, you know, to jiu-jitsu build a nice reputation. You know,
in Brazil or in the U.S.
in Brazil, in the U.S. at that time, jiu-jitsu was like so small, but yeah, in Brazil we have like the news, you know, the Sunday news. It was like a big deal,
Really?
like the baile funky, you know, like the parties. Like some people, like I said, they are not jiu-jitsu fighters, but they could learn some Mata-Leão or something, and then you know,
They use it against other people.
yeah, or even luta livre. Wasn't necessarily like jiu-jitsu, but the media made all the pit bulls and the pit bull guys like become really bad, and so then everybody thinks, oh, jiu-jitsu is bad. You're like a delinquent, whatever. You're beating up
You're
people.
just beating people up.
Yeah, and that was
no.
my fight. You know, with Fabio's fights
So basically, you're the Cobra Kai of karate.
Cobra Kai Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we want to clean the reputation. That took a long time. That's why I got some very pissed off when I see like people doing trash talking in jiu-jitsu. In MMA,
Right.
it's acceptable.
It's really
You know?
difficult for me. I understand the theory behind it, and I think that jiu-jitsu has kind of taken a right turn over the past 4 to 5 years.
I would say. But it's grown so fast.
Yeah.
It's
Really,
grown
really fast.
enormously quick, right? But the thing is like, I'm not really into the trash talk. I believe that first and foremost, it's a martial art.
Yeah.
So there's a mutual respect with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I value the terminology. Or let's just rewind a little bit. And I know that this is probably a touchy subject for some people, but Marcelo Garcia's speech, whenever he put out Dylan and Munch, you know, and Munch is not a verbal person, but Munch Munch, unfortunately, in that escapade was guilty by association because he hung out with Dylan so much, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but the truth of the matter is that as a professor, you never want the negative energy in your room. And whenever you're bringing that in, like Marcelo Garcia, I really respect the fact that he took the time to explain to everybody too after they were kicked out, you know, and actually filmed it and put it online, which was absolutely amazing too. But I think that kicking down that knowledge to everybody allows other professors to understand, like, you don't have to have toxic people in your room on your mat. You don't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if you do, you're really bringing down the morale of everybody in the room, not to mention cancer spreads and cancer spreads fast.
Yes,
You have
I
one
agree.
person in the gym that's cancerous, all of a sudden 5 people are cancerous. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And before you know it, you've got 10 people that are cancerous, and then 10 people leave your gym based off of one person's opinion that was never even really true in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're just angry for no reason, which obviously brings down everything in the energy in the room. So I agree with his theories behind that, and I agree with where you're going with it. I just think that the right-handed turn, wherever we went, in some cases, I don't really feed into it. I don't pay attention to it. I don't care. But I don't think that it's the martial art way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
In my eyes.
Yeah, me either. Because we are here to do different to the world, you know,
Right.
and we are doing. And it saved a lot of people's life. People like who are involved with alcohol or drugs
Oh,
or
yeah.
even crimes. And then, you know, we can bring these people and show them like a completely like different way of
A
life.
totally different life.
And then people wants to just trash that, you know.
Right.
I think it's very stupid, and I'm super against that, to be honest.
Agreed.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you in Brazil to change the way people saw jiu-jitsu? Because now it's considered pretty much like a national sport right next to soccer.
Yeah.
How long did it take to do that?
I remember this bad age was when I was like between yellow belt and blue belt. So that was in 1999, kind of close to the 2000s. So yeah, we have the media really on top of this for a long time, and then they always find out on other stuff, you know. So I don't really remember, but it took a couple years to we got like this stereotype, you know, of being like the pit bulls, the pit fighters. They could call us pit fighters, you know. And then, yeah, it took a while. I just always like showed a good example of the jiu-jitsu, and that's what I did, you know, because it was even there's a funny story too. This one time they invited me to go to like a TV show in Brazil. It was live, and it was like one of the biggest channels. And then they invited me to talk about jiu-jitsu. And then I said, hi guys, like I know all this like Pete Boy and all these fighting things that are going on. So if you guys want me to go to your guys' program, I'm going. But I'm on the side of the sport that is, you know, representing Brazil in US, in the whole world during the competitions. And that's what I'm going to talk about, the good side of jiu-jitsu, not the bad side. So if you guys want to, you know, call me to talk about all this like media thing about fighting, that's not completely true. That the fighters wasn't like fighters, you know, the troublemakers. So then I went to this, no, we respect you, you know who you are. I said, okay, just talk about my titles and what I'm doing and representing Brazil.
But then once they got you on live, they tried to just
first
destroy you.
question, this guy that nobody really likes him on TV, like in Brazil. First question is, oh, so you're here with Taris Humphreys, yeah, he's the national champion, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, Tarsis, so what do you think about all these people fighting on the streets with jiu-jitsu? I wanted to be that guy.
And it's hard too, because you're being belittled and embarrassed in front of a national audience. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not like it was a pre-recorded thing where you could have punched him in the throat and just threw it in the trash. You know what I mean? Or walked out of the interview. You're live on camera and you don't want to like embarrass everybody else by getting up and walking out. You know what I mean? But you're totally right. It's unfair.
Yeah, no, I used some good examples. I was young. I was like a purple belt at that time, probably like 19, 18, something like that.
That's a lot of pressure for you.
Yeah, no.
When did you first come to the U.S.?
First time in my life, like related with jiu-jitsu, I think it was a brown belt to fight Pan Ams. And that was probably 2002 or 3. Yeah.
When did you move to the U.S. permanent?
2016.
So just a couple years ago. So you were still going back and forth all that time.
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought you were here more than that, man.
Yeah,
It seems
I
like
tried to.
it seems like you've been around a lot.
Yeah, I tried to move in 2010 to leave permanently, but then didn't work out. I was in Florida.
Right.
And then I decided to go back to Brazil. I just won the world title, so I wanted one more. You know, I was in my peak. And then I decided to go back to Brazil. But always I used to come to San Diego especially, you know.
Right.
And come and stay for like 6 months, go back.
Was Fabio in Brazil or is he in New York?
Fabio Gurgel?
Yeah.
He's in Brazil.
He's back in Brazil, right?
Yeah,
he
has
about
the gym in Brazil. Cavalcante, he used to be in Atlanta for so many years, like a lot of time. And then he just moved it to Redondo Beach now.
Okay.
Yes, he's in California.
He's in California.
Enjoy
now.
the sun,
Nice.
the beach.
He's like, I'm retiring a little bit. Is
Yeah.
he training? Who is he? Is he probably over there with Gabby? Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
just
it's just like enjoying life
kinda
now. To
enjoying
be
life
honest,
for a
yeah,
little
he'll
bit.
work
Right.
it forever.
Right.
Like I was teaching like 6 months ago, 1 year ago. He's still
Right.
like teaching every day.
Right.
So very fair.
That's
for
cool.
him.
That gives him a little opportunity to travel a little bit and do some different things without necessarily being held to the gun of just teaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks like he's enjoying more life now. Like I cannot really say what he's doing exactly because I didn't ask, but it looks like he's doing
Oh, good.
this.
That's good.
Yeah, since last time I spoke with him.
We all got to live it up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
When you moved stateside, what did you think of the jiu-jitsu, the U.S. jiu-jitsu, or the American jiu-jitsu, like some people like to call it, compared to the Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
I think it's about people. I think it's about how much effort and dedication you put, to be a great fighter. And it doesn't matter if you're Brazilian or if you're Japanese or what, like just train, do the hard work, show that you're really good, show more and talk less. I see a lot of people talking too much and they have no titles, they have nothing, and they just talk, and just do like the other people do. Like one example, like I'm a big fan of this guy, Rafael Lovato. He is fucking samurai. Like he won Brazilian nationals in Brazil. He won the Pan American. He won the Worlds. He won the Bellator title, and he's an amazing guy. He's respectful.
Always,
He's an amazing
Rafa is
example.
always 150% respect.
Like it's a guy that I'm so proud of him. For what he did in Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
And he doesn't talk shit.
No.
He's a very good example. That's the American guy that people needs to follow as a example, in my opinion. Of course, everybody follow whatever they want, but in terms of being a real martial artist, that's my guy. That I will say, like he's an example. He's a badass. He has amazing, he's an amazing person. Like educated. He has open doors with everybody. Like never had any trouble with anybody in Jiu-Jitsu.
And he trains with everybody. He's always willing to open his doors and train with anybody. Yeah. Right.
So he's a good example for me.
I love it. Yep.
Win everything, and he's
also one of the very first Americans, right, to achieve black belt. You know what I mean? As far as without looking beyond the original 12 or whatever, he's one of the very first Americans to be a competitor too at that, and go mainstream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like him and Jeff Glover are pretty much the very first two. Him and Jeff. That's it.
Bill Cooper, BJ.
Yeah, and then Bill followed after him, right?
Yeah, BJ was
BJ
like,
as well.
I remember seeing BJ fighting. He has like a big Hawaiian logo on his back.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, that's a cool gi, And then he was like beating everybody in Brazil. I said, who's that guy? And at that time we didn't really know so many people, but yeah, he did amazing too at the Worlds. I remember his performance was like incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we started recording, we were talking.
And there's some other American names too that I can say, like Michael Musumeci too. It's like
100%.
amazing jiu-jitsu. He's a humble, nice guy, and there's so many others, but that's all about.
Those are the original ones. Yeah, I agree with you. Those are the very first ones.
There's so many names to say, those ones are on the top,
It breaks my heart though to know that Rafa has a condition now that he's not going to be able to fight anymore. But you know what? The truth be told, he's accomplished everything. The only title he did not accomplish was ADCC champion. That's it.
Right? Yeah.
He's accomplished everything else, though.
Yeah, and he can still try.
He can, 100%. Yeah.
Right.
No, but
who knows?
How do you take away that competitive spirit from someone and say, okay, you can't compete no more, you're done?
Well, then you redirect all your energy into your students.
Yeah, and it's hard to be
and
honest.
It's going to be hard trade-off. It's going to be a hard trade-off because he's always had that energy.
But it's not the same.
It's not.
It's not
No,
the same.
it's
But let me
different,
tell you
yeah.
something. Whenever you have to start living your life through your eyes of your students, and you get to see them grow and achieve so many things that it's amazing. Your energy at some point, even as a professor, regardless, no matter how competitive you are, your gears switch, because there comes a point that you really just can't be an effective competitor anymore. Your
Yeah.
body's broken down. You can't train at those levels all the time anymore. You're only able to train like that maybe 2 or 3 times a week versus 6 times a week like you were before, So at some point, you got to transition you got to transition your energy into your students. And once you do that, and if you're okay with that transition, your heart is going to open up big. Like there's no other way around it, because once you can give back and you've been really able to dedicate yourself to a couple of schools here locally.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years, and you've got to watch students grow. And whenever you get to go out and coach students, whenever you know that they couldn't even do a forward roll whenever they walk through your door, or they couldn't do a shrimp, or they couldn't, they had no kind of skill set whatsoever, and you're able to convert that and watch them go out and actually give a guy a match and actually be credible while they're doing it, really making the other person challenged. Man, there's no greater gift in the world than to watch somebody lose 60 pounds, you know what I mean, and get their health back.
Yeah, no, that's
what I mean.
Yeah, that's the
Or
best thing.
even and they don't even necessarily have to compete. You just touch their life in a way that they're so thankful, and they come and they tell you about it all the time. Like
you give them their life back.
You've given their life back 100%. So changing the gears, and Rafael has a huge school in Oklahoma. Matter of fact, he just bought the building that he's in, the new one that he's in, and he is the largest school in Oklahoma next to Pete Wilhelm, which is Triton. So he has a tremendous student base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So giving back to those students, he's got it made. He has a huge association as well. So he's constantly traveling around helping his students. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good thing for him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, if you have to make a change, right? It's good to be in a position like he's in, because he has a backup plan. He has the opportunity to still get back. Now he's gonna have to obviously play with his mental game a little bit. He's gonna have to figure out some of those options. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna bother him for a little while, and he's gonna have to accept some changes, like he's been really going through it this last 9-10 months. You know what I mean? Trying to figure everything out. But I think ultimately, he's got a game plan.
Yeah. I think he'll be fine. And
I
like I
agree.
said, he accomplished everything. And
Yes.
maybe if he wants the ADCC, he has
He only put
down.
down the ADCC thing because he was fighting Bellator. That's the only reason why he didn't fight the last ADCC. Otherwise, he was in Worlds. He was going to be there.
Yeah, next year maybe. See
For
him.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think the first trials is in November.
Yeah, but the thing with Rafa, he'll be a shoe-in. That's the thing. I'm more than likely, I would guess. You know what I mean? He's been a shoe-in the last couple. So I think he'll be a shoe-in.
Yeah.
He'll be invited.
Yeah.
We're talking about Americans that train jiu-jitsu. Let's talk about the term a lot of people have been throwing around lately, American jiu-jitsu, as opposed to just jiu-jitsu. What do you think about people labeling it American jiu-jitsu as opposed to just jiu-jitsu?
Okay. I'm gonna be very straightforward.
That's fine. That's what this is about.
Don't hold back.
Okay, I think that's bullshit. And it's not because I'm Brazilian and I want to be Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's not that.
No,
It's
I get it.
jiu-jitsu. Like there's things that you cannot reinvent. Let's say the will. It's gonna be will, not American will.
Right.
That's it. It's still the will. And there's so many other examples that we can use. I think this can be kind of some nationalism and racism, and that's not nice. So what is this about? So American Jiu-Jitsu, just Americans can train at that gym.
Right.
And Jiu-Jitsu is all about you have all the type of people in your place. That's
Right.
the most nicest thing is a community. It's like a club. You're going to respect your people in the Jiu-Jitsu. Even outside of Jiu-Jitsu, like for a true martial artist, you need to be respectful and show the example because you're a little weapon, And then you start to do this like, here's American Jiu-Jitsu. What's the difference? Tell me the difference. There's no difference because one guy did one different sweep and then he wants to give a new name for the sport that has been forever, not forever, but for a long time, And the only difference that I see why people call Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't even know. Like my profile on Instagram was Tarsis JJ, right? Tarsis Jiu Jitsu.
Right.
And then everybody, why is JJ the American people? I said, yes, it's Jiu Jitsu. No, it's BJJ. And then I said, oh, okay, if it's easy for you guys to find as BJJ, I'm switching right now. And then I did, because before it was Tarsis JJ. And then, okay, I kind of lost my...
No, you're good. You're good.
my thought right now. But, yeah. So,
it's easy to get lost whenever you're passionate about something.
Like, there's the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, you know,
Right.
that was very, very simple. Like, they have the Americana, they have the Kimura, they have, like, the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. Let's put it like that, right? And then, from the story that I know, the Jiu-Jitsu in Japan got distinguished, like, was, like, prohibited to train Jiu-Jitsu. It was, like, a crime to do that. So, kind of, there is no Jiu-Jitsu in Japan anymore. So then, Kondikoma, right, he came to Brazil and taught, like, the Japanese movements for the Gracie family, right? And then the Gracie learned it, and Ilya Gracie, from all the stories that I heard, you know, and close to Hickson, I have some friendship with Hickson and other Gracies, and then that's what they tell. Yeah, he made it better, more efficient. He was like a very skinny guy, not strong, and he could make it very, very efficient, that he could be able to beat like guys with double of his size, and he did it, or at least, you know,
on multiple occasions,
with all those monsters, you know, and no other martial arts could do that before, you know. It was very hard. And then also they proved that Jiu-Jitsu was the best, like the Grace family did that. We need to give them all the credit, because they put their face, they challenge people, they create the UFC. So no matter if you like or don't like them, you need to give the credit.
They're a viable part of the history of Jiu-Jitsu coming to America.
Exactly.
Well, worldwide, period. You know,
well.
and MMA, yeah. The UFC started in 1993 at the Denver Coliseum in Denver, Colorado.
Right, and you can put like Jiu-Jitsu, not MMA, because MMA now it's like 3 martial arts or 4 together, combined. And at the time was Jiu-Jitsu against box, Jiu-Jitsu against like karate or
taekwondo,
sumo or whatever.
Sumo. Yeah,
and they proved that Jiu-Jitsu was the best.
Right.
So putting like that, and then you have this like, like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, right? For me, I will call Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is fine, but then okay, there's other people doing that too, and then let's make it more for everybody, whatever, and also the rights of the Gracie name. So if everybody opens a gym and pay the royalties, it's going to be crazy. So then, I don't know who did that, but somebody changed it for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Because it's not the Japanese. It's the Gracie, but then you cannot, you know, the
They
royalties
probably
stuff.
limited it to the fact that it was Brazilians that made it evolve, you know what I mean? And then them coming to the U.S. and actually bringing it to the States, like, you know, talking to Rose and talking to Hiron and talking to, you know, the guys, you know, always hearing what they had to say, Heileck and everybody, you know, they came to the States, you know, knowing that they, you know, their grandfather bought something amazing to share with people. And the truth of the matter is that it started in that garage way back when, and look at what it's evolved into today. You know, who would have ever thought in a million years that, you know, the numbers, if you statistically look at the metrics broken down, because I have a lot of the metrics. Like 5 years ago, there was something like 60, maybe 70,000 people across the United States training. Now, it was like 20 to 25,000, and now in today's modern day, you're looking at about 60 to 65, probably 1,000 people training across nationally. You know what I mean? And there's schools popping up everywhere, and not only in the U.S., they're you know, not only nationwide, but all over the world.
Yeah,
you know?
Europe.
There's schools. There's multiple schools on all the islands in Hawaii. There's, you know, in Guam, there's like 5 or 6 different schools, you know, for considering the size of the island, right? Yeah. You know, Saipan, Tinian, all these little, you know, Marianas Islands, like all the little small places that you wouldn't even think of. You know, Europe has them all over the place, you know, and you wouldn't even think about it. You know, Asia the same. So the fact is that there's exponential growth in the market, you know what I mean? But the other flip side of the coin is, you know, for those of you that are going to look for a school, make sure that you're finding a school that's actually tangible, that you're actually getting credibility and validity behind it with your professors, right? Yeah. Make sure that the black belts are really legit. Make sure that they actually really did train with somebody and you can track their lineage. Like, I see people all the time, you know, it's really hard to get away with it now with the internet, right? But there's
Yeah.
still a few out there that are still faking the funk in
Oh,
the
yeah.
Midwest somewhere,
I
you
saw
know,
that.
Snapback Alabama or something like that. So that makes it kind of funny. But outside of that, you know, I think for the most part, you know, most professors are honest. You know what I mean? And they're coming from a credible source, so that's a positive. So.
Yeah, so like going back in this term, American Jiu-Jitsu, I want to know what is that, because who's claiming that doesn't know even how to explain that in a like way that makes sense. Like I don't
just
want to
think-
say names here.
I think that like you being in the U.S., I think that you being in the U.S., you know, I think that the term now, I heard Salo say this a long time ago too. He goes, I don't think it's just necessarily Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu anymore, because
Yeah.
people from London train, and people from Ireland train, and people from Hawaii train, and Asia, and the U.S. He said, honestly, like, let's just drop Brazilian and let's just be Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm totally fine with that.
You
Yeah,
know, and
I'm
I
totally fine
think
with
you
that.
agree with that too, and I agree with the terminology behind it too. Let's just be Jiu-Jitsu, you know, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
And then you can separate, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters, the American Jiu-Jitsu
right,
fighters, who is
the
best,
European,
who is
you know,
what's
the Irish,
style?
you know?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then if you do something like that, if you start separating the countries, then people are going to say, well, you're just separating your.
well,
call it
but
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
okay,
then.
but technically speaking, okay,
You just know how
ADCC,
people are. You know how people are.
ADCC,
But it's like soccer. That's the Brazilian soccer. There's the Italian
Right.
soccer. What's the difference? It's soccer. Like, it's just the style that they play, you know? So I see no point, you know? Yes, the Americans are training jiu-jitsu. They are doing good. Awesome. Yeah, and I'm happy for everyone that's, you know, doing their dreams come true. And it's good for jiu-jitsu. The only thing that I ask is, like, be a nice martial artist. Be a nice person.
100%.
Don't talk trash.
don't be
You
a
know,
douche.
even if like some people are supporting that, I think, you know why? Because like people go and they talk so many trash for a grappling match.
Right.
But if somebody talk trash to me, I want to fucking slap you in the face or fight you.
I
You know,
agree.
that's
I
how
agree.
we do.
You
And
know,
then you go like a grappling mat, and then you're gonna grappling the guy.
Before
No,
you know
man,
it,
talk
it's
shit
not-
to
it's
me.
not-
Like,
yeah.
okay, now we're gonna like throw
Yeah, it's
punches in
different, right?
our
Yeah.
face. You know, if you really enjoy that,
I
let's
totally
do
agree.
it.
I agree.
And then you talk shit, talk trash too. Sorry, spectators, the younger ones. But you know, I got some emotional sometimes. But you know, don't do that if we're gonna grappling. You know, grappling is all about respect. You know,
100%.
and I'm not saying that MMA fighters don't
And
respect
the truth
each
of the
other,
matter
but
is,
at least
the
you
truth
go
of the
and punch
matter is
somebody
that
in the
the
face.
truth
You
of the
know?
matter is if you and I have a match, okay, and we battle it out, and I don't tap you, you don't tap me, or even if you do tap me or I
Mhm.
tap you, at the end of the match, it should be all love. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
the fact is that you get, I don't know, for me anyway, and what I've recognized over the last 15 or 16 years is that all the time that you put in competition and so on and so forth, or even just training with the person across from you, the minute you get off the mat with them, you have a higher value. He could be the first time in the room ever meeting him, but the fact that you guys went toe to toe, you have a newfound respect for that person.
that's one of
And
the things I like about jiu-jitsu.
the
Because
camaraderie.
You don't know who you're training with when
Yeah.
you're on the mat. You don't know.
Yeah.
It could be a
But
doctor, a lawyer,
A doctor, a lawyer,
Hell's
fireman,
Angel, a
fireman.
Mongol. You
Yeah,
never know. Yeah,
exactly.
for
You
sure.
don't know, but once you step off that mat, it's like you have a new brother,
Yeah.
and that's what I appreciate.
And he could be
about
from
it.
Ohio, and you're in California, 100%.
Yeah.
He's going back to Ohio. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, if you're ever going to Ohio, you got a place to go.
You know who to
Yeah.
call.
No,
100%.
that's my life. I have been in so many places around the world, you know, for free. Like, hey, come to my house. Come
Yeah,
here. Come
100%.
hang out.
My
come
house
to
is your
this.
house, 100%.
Exactly, yeah. And that's through jiu-jitsu. Everything that I have is through jiu-jitsu. My car, my TV, my house,
Right, no.
everything. Like my friends. So that's what the good thing about jiu-jitsu. You know, it's like you go, you fight, you do your best, and then at the end of the fight, yeah, that's, you know.
And you don't have
Hang out.
the other thing, I think the flip side of it is that you don't have a lot of people that are jerks in jiu-jitsu. If they come from a really good professor, the professors nip that in the butt right off the bat, right? They don't
Yeah.
allow that to happen. So I think if you come from that background with a credible professor that doesn't allow you to get away with that kind of stuff, you're turning you've got 300 students at your school, you've got 300 respectable manners and etiquette type of role models that are going to go out in the world and do amazing things. Now,
That's
if you
what
allow
hope.
them,
That's
that's what you hope for,
That's what
right?
you hope.
Yeah.
But you also don't want those guys to be douchebags, you know what I mean, online and everything else, and
Yeah,
internet
yeah,
keyboard
yeah,
warriors where
yeah.
they're being jerks to everybody, and that's not what you want either. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Of course not. But you do. Unfortunately, you do have people that are.
Well, there are there. I watched Flow Grappling
Watch it last night.
log in. No, I didn't get a chance to, but I watched that. Cyborg was phenomenal, by the way. I watched Flow Grappling like go live on their Instagram live the other day for Kasai, and there was somebody commenting in there. They just kept saying the same thing over and over. They were totally rude, man. It was Flow sucks. You know, you guys can't get your streams right. They were cursing them out, but you know, really vulgar language. And they did it about
like our video stream.
kind of like 20 times, man, back and forth. And I don't know what the heck was going on with them or why they were acting like that. But for some reason, they did not. Whatever was going on there, they were totally back and forth about the whole thing and just being really rude with the people. And I didn't understand that. It didn't make no sense. It was really not okay.
Being rude.
It was one of the spectators in the comments. You know how they log into the live feed too, and they just kept repeating. And like every other person, there was like 200 people on there, right? And he kept doing it. He just kept doing it, repeating it. And I almost said, I wrote his name out and I said, you know, your comments are really rude. You know, you should probably watch your mouth, right? And I thought about it, and then of course, if I subject myself in there, right, then I have to. If I
give the attention that he wants.
Then exactly, and that's for people like that, like I sometimes want them to understand, like, you know, you guys are really disrespectful. Like nobody wants to hear that. You know what I mean? Who do you
but
think
he's
you
just
are?
brave because he's behind the keyboard.
100%, 100%.
It goes back to what we talked about before. With the internet, it gives, for lack of a better word, it gives stupid people or dumb people a platform to speak their mind. And when someone's providing a service like Flow, if you like what you're watching, watch it. Support it.
Yeah.
If you don't
watch it.
Don't watch it. Don't support it.
So easy.
Why are you following them for if you don't like what they're putting out?
There's gonna be haters, but I think our job is to, you know, put this new conscious about, you know, like how we want the jiu-jitsu community to be, and these people, like we cannot feed them, you know. Let's starve this type of you know, like attitude.
Right.
It's not
Get it out of
attitude.
here.
So just starve them, and they're gonna need to change. That's it. You know, like they just want attention, and
that's basically what Liz said. They probably weren't hungry enough when they were kids or something.
Yeah, right. Let's give them hugs.
Well, come into jiu-jitsu. We'll give you some hugs.
We'll
give you a lot of hugs.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
So let's talk about retiring. I know you've discussed it a little bit. You've talked about it a little bit. I know you have some DVD series and stuff coming out as well with BJJ Fanatics. Let's touch on some of that. I think that's super important that people know where you're going or what's happening with you.
Yeah. So I have been competing since 1997, 8. You know, it's been a long time. I love to compete. This has been my life for so many years, and unfortunately, I'm getting older. Like I put my body in so much stress, you know,
turmoil.
Like I always competing in my weight in the open class. I'm just like, I used to be a middleweight and a medium heavy, and that's it. And then, but I was there, you know, fighting like super heavy guy, super heavyweight guys, and you know, it's my passion. I did that with all my heart, and I'm happy with what I could achieve, you know, in my career. Of course, you always think you can do more, and I still thinking I could do more, and I still thinking that I go and beat every of these new young kids, you know, winning. But sometimes you need to be realistic, and now I'm in transitioning of my life that I want to open my school, and I'm doing that pretty soon. And then like,
so you're gonna open it in San Diego?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
It's gonna be between Encinitas and Bressy Ranch.
Okay.
It's gonna be a small studio. So
you got a name yet?
It's gonna be probably Alianza Encinitas.
All right.
Tarsis Humphreys, and yeah, it's gonna be semi-private classes now at the beginning, and then as we grow, then we're gonna have like a regular gym. So I always like it to teach more privates, you know, and get people that are very interested in learn the art. And yeah, and then of course we're gonna have like a big school in a couple while. Let's start small and see how it goes.
Okay.
More conservative.
I like it.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have this place that I'm opening inside another school there that's all about conditioning.
Okay.
And these guys are amazing. They are taking care of like a lot of pro athletes, like skateboard, surfing, and
strength and conditioning 101. Yeah, 100%.
So we're gonna have also this combo that you can train jiu-jitsu and also take care of your body, you know, doing all the exercises needed
super important
for you to have your body no longevity in jiu-jitsu and life. I don't want you to just come and break
Proper
yourself.
stretching, lower back. Like there's a lot of things that making sure that your lower back and your core is straight. You know what I mean? Because if you don't keep those strong, man, you're gonna hurt yourself. Bad.
And conditioning is a big part of this. Like
100%.
I wish I could have like a better conditioning when I was younger, because I would be able to avoid a lot of injuries that I have in my lower back, in my knees and hip. But anyway, I did what I need to do, and then now I'm thinking about my students, and I want them to, perform better and have more quality of life and jiu-jitsu, so we can integrate all this in this new place. You're gonna have the option to just train jiu-jitsu if you want, but we're gonna have this combo, so we can do both and have like this amazing experience. Yeah, so that's my next plan. So last year, I decided that I would retire officially from adult division. That was my plan. So it was more for me, to put in my mind that Tarsis, like, stop right now. You're not dedicating the first 6 months of the year for yourself anymore to get ready for a competition. Now, forget about it. You're gonna dedicate for your business, for your school, for your students. So yeah, I decided to do my last Worlds last year, and was pretty sad for me because I'm still in this transition. I'm more fine with that. That I'm not being competing that much anymore, but it was hard. And like the transition, like, oh my god, I'm not competing anymore.
Burritos are pretty amazing, aren't they?
Huh?
Burritos are pretty amazing, though, aren't they?
Oh yeah, so good. So many things to enjoy in this life, right? But yeah, so officially I decided to stop. But I was like watching the tournament and I was, oh my god, I can't be ready for Worlds 2020.
Right.
So let's see. Like my focus now, it's not the competitions anymore. But I was still competing. Some more like super fights, and there's some big names that I still want to fight. But before I do that, I need surgery, like just a meniscus thing, and my finger too. I blow my finger, and it's like really bothering me to the grips now. So I want to be 100%, and then get back in shape, and then when I feel like I'm really good in shape, and then I can fight somebody, like with a big name.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be ready. Give him a super fight.
Yeah.
Oh, for Super League? Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah.
You've been competing for what? How many years?
23.
23 years.
Yeah.
You've been competing. Yep. Are there any particular fights that stand out, like that you think about all the time, or you could always refer back to say, well, this one time I did this, and something that you remember all the time?
And I fought almost everybody in jiu-jitsu. I fought all like 3 generations, like in jiu-jitsu. So many big names like Saulo Ribeiro, Cachorrinho, and then Bahal, and then the younger kids. Like fought everybody. And I don't think there's not like any specific fight that I could do this or do that. I always gave my best on the mats. And I don't know, like sometimes I back in time and said, oh, maybe I just should stick with one type of game and win like 4 world titles or 5 or 6 that I didn't. I know I got a lot of medals in the world, like a lot of 3rd places, 2nd places, and just one gold medal in 2010. And also I did the Abu Dhabi Pro. I got my weight division and open class. And back in time I think like, oh, maybe I could stick with only one game and go for the win, doesn't matter how. But I was always thinking about being well-rounded, and learn everything, even like the self-defense part, because that was me. Like I wanted always to be able to be comfortable in any situation. So sometimes I think about it like, oh, maybe I should just do some, I don't know, half guard and one type of pass and beat everybody. But I'm sure, like now, if I will be in this like podcast, I will have a bunch of medals and not all the experience that I have. I feel comfortable in any situation, like any guard passing, like defense, like self-defense. So I'm very well-rounded. And then you see like a lot of champions that they don't know how to do a slap self-defense and with a hip throw or like a back escape, and it's fine.
I think that's kind of tough too, because I think a lot of schools have some schools veer away from the self-defense portion and they're only focused on sport jiu-jitsu, and they forget what the baseline or what the common ground was, which was obviously self-defense. You know what I mean? That was our number one thing.
Yeah, the jiu-jitsu, it's all about it at the beginning, and then we got the sport jiu-jitsu to do the competition and stuff.
Right.
And I think we can never forget about it, because jiu-jitsu can
100%.
literally save your life.
100%.
You know?
I agree.
You never know if you're gonna get like somebody on crazy drugs, or you know, or
I think Half Gracie actually has a phrase, and he says something about it's
yeah, somebody's gonna try to pick something from you.
At some time, you're gonna somebody's gonna try to take something from you, and you're gonna have to defend yourself. You know what I mean?
And choke
so you're gonna have to choke the guy. So you better be ready. He didn't say it in those terms. He had a little bit of vulgarity in there. Half wouldn't be Half without a little bit of something in there, but he was right. He's dead on. Like, you never know. At some point, somebody is going to try to take something from you, or your kids, or your students, or your friends. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have to defend somebody.
No, for real. Yeah.
The newer generation, do you have any certain fighters you like to watch?
Oh yeah, there's so many. Mikey Musumeci was pretty nice. I saw this guy fighting in Europeans now, Taris. He's doing pretty good too. Really Felipe good. Andrew, it's amazing. Like, a lot like his he's very aggressive, and he do his transitions like super fast. He just won the open class, right? He has a really
Keenan beat him at weight, and then he beat him in open class.
Oh
right?
I didn't
hit him
know.
with the triangle. He caught him with the triangle and an armbar. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that was like this back and forth.
Last week. Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw the open class.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't really put time on that on the whole Europeans, but yeah, no, this guy's amazing. Jiu-Jitsu. He's young, and I see him like going far away. Roberto Jimenez just got his black belt.
Oh, I know.
Phenomenal. I think he's still super young. There's a lot of things that he needs to understand about. Like,
how do you think he matches up with Keenan this time? Because the first time he fought Keenan,
it wasn't
Keenan,
good.
Well, I think Roberto folded. I think he really just folded. He went out there, and Keenan's obviously a veteran. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Roberto just went in there, and I think he was overwhelmed knowing that he was fighting Keenan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One, he was overwhelmed, and two, he kind of just quickly succumbed to Keenan being a veteran. A veteran is going to key off of your mistake, and he's going to do what he's got to do.
Yeah.
I think this time, though, Roberto is more seasoned. He's grown a lot over the last 2 to 3 years since the last time that they actually fought. And I think you're gonna see. I think it's gonna be an amazing match. I really kind of look forward to seeing this one. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna be there for sure, supporting Robertinho. He's a beast. I have been training for him for a long time. He's a good example as a
very humble martial artist. Yes, 100%.
So I really support him all the time. It's gonna be an interesting fight. I think Keenan's gonna try, to put his game, his guard game and the warm guard, and Robertinho's probably gonna avoid, and has a lot of answers for that. I'm sure about it. And I can see Robertinho doing his back takes.
Right.
I can see that.
He's so quick too.
So fast.
So quick. Yeah, he's quick for being the size that he is. He's really quick.
It's not so fun to train.
No, not at all. Not at all. I would agree.
I don't want to forget about this before we go. You just shot some tutorials.
Yes.
With BJJ Fanatics.
Exactly. Yeah. So I recorded with Bernardo. One DVD is all about lower extremity attacks. So I'm doing all the attacks that I know for like groin, calf, foot locks, straight foot locks, and toe holds, and like switching the legs, and a lot of knee bars too. So it's all about lower extremity attacks, like a lot of positions you can use for no gi as well. And I got my world title in a BJJF with a knee bar in the finals. And it was in a time that people doesn't really use like a lot of foot locks and knee bars. So it was something in my game that I always use it, because I look at people and then I say like, okay, like we have 100% of the body and we are just attacking half of it, like just 50% from like your waist and up. So why not? And I have so many joints, from your waist and down. Why not? So then I started to disinvolve and invented some movements. And I'm putting all this in this new DVD.
Did you get an opportunity to work with anybody that were Sambo guys?
Sambo guys, no, never.
No, that would help you out because there was a lot of guys here like local. We were really fortunate here local because even whenever Salo came and Shanji came, we weren't allowed to touch the feet. Nobody was allowed to touch the feet. Like it was kind of it was kind of like, no, we don't do that, you know. And
that was in
and unfortunately, as blue belts, we had a bunch of guys here local that were Sambo guys, and we were training with them sometimes, and of course they were helping us with wrestling and they were helping us with the footlocks, and we were like, well, come on, let's do this in class, you know. And they were like, no, don't do it. But then as time went on, Salo would see us keep doing it, but we were only doing it to each other. We were only doing it to a select group of guys, right? We weren't training. Yeah, we weren't training with everybody because we didn't want to hurt nobody, you know what I mean? And we were willing to take it off of ourselves, you know what I mean? And so we kept doing it, and as time went on, they kind of let up off of us, and they were like, you know what? I think they more or less thought like, well, it's just their group of friends that they're all doing it with, like let them beat each other up, you know what I mean? And then see what they come up with.
That's cool.
But honestly, it was really cool because like you, we got to learn how to use a knee bar. We got to learn how to use a straight ankle, you know what I mean? And even then, like even all these years later, like I get an opportunity to sit down with some of you guys, and based on an angle, like sometimes I feel like, oh, my arms are too short and I can't hit it, you know, oh, kill the chicken wing, you know what I mean? And elevate, you know, open up your shoulders, like all these little things. Like there's times that I go to hit certain things and I feel like I don't have the angle. And then one of you guys show me and I go, well, dang, man, I was there the whole time. I always had it. Like it was there. All I got to do is like, really? That's it? You know? And so it blows my mind, you know, little tiny tips that you can learn from other people that actually open up your game some more. So, I mean, although we had an opportunity to learn some amazing things, like Dean is phenomenal, Mr. You know, but you guys give it, you know, seeing what you guys do too as you know, even just a little tweak, man, I'll tell you what, it changes the game because you're going to learn from so many people, and I like to learn from everybody.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm very like I explore a lot of the details of all, you know, my classes. I'm like that, and I like to talk and explain all the details and make the people understand why they are doing that and the mechanics. So then makes easy for you to fix in your mind, since one time you learn, it's not just a repetition. And so yeah, and I explore a lot of the details on this DVD. And the other one, it's all about my guard passes system. And one of the specific positions is what I use it against Leandro Lowe in the 5 grappling tournament.
Right.
Then kind of starts to study his game, and then looks like, oh my god, where can I do it? This guy, like, he doesn't stop moving, and like his base is just like
and you trapped him. You trapped the legs down and held on double unders. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I did like this cross grip. It was something that I disinvolved to, like not too many people were using that before, and I could win that fight. And so I showed that and all the other sequence that you can use from that position, and all the pressure pads that I use. So it's very like multi-dimensional in terms. I mean, you can go to the left, to the right, or you can cross through the legs, or you can jump over, or you can just open up the guy and get the passes. So everything with a lot of details too. Right. So basically, I'm giving you guys on these DVDs all my game, you know, everything that I do from all these years, you know, all my system.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Is that available now?
Not yet. Just the teasers just came out. It's on BJJ Fanatics, so you guys can have a little sneak peek.
A little taste.
Yeah.
You get a taste.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be in the next month available, like probably 3-4 weeks from now. From what I spoke with Bernardo, he said, oh, sometimes it takes 2 months or 1 month because they need to edit everything. Right. But I believe in the next 3-4 weeks is gonna be available.
I like it.
Yeah.
Just there's questions I always like to ask people. What does jiu-jitsu mean to you?
Oh, everything. Like I said, jiu-jitsu gave me everything. You know, gave me a family, a jiu-jitsu family, friends, even money. You know, giving me work, giving me the opportunity to be here in the United States. You know, living in this amazing country. You know, giving me the opportunity to travel the whole world and see a lot of a different culture and make new friends. Give me the opportunity to be a humble guy. You know, of course, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I can be here and there, you know, cocky or whatever. Everybody does sometimes. But, you know, giving me a whole education, to be honest. Like, giving me this, let's say, power to don't be afraid on the street. I'm sure a lot of people, you know, walk in places and they feel insecure, you know, like that people can, you know, I don't know, like beat them or create problems with them. So I just feel like it's necessary for everybody, you know, to learn how to defend yourself and you know, like just to know that you can take care of yourself, you know.
No, 100%. I agree.
Any advice for people who are thinking about training jiu-jitsu, or anybody that's on the fence? Should I? Shouldn't I? What would you tell a person that's thinking about training
Jiu-jitsu. Pay attention on the small details. Like the small details makes all the difference in jiu-jitsu. And then drill a lot. You know, try to do not use strength as well. Try to use the technique and move more. As you move, more as you fight in jiu-jitsu. That's my conception now. You know, like you can easily, like, just survive. Like you guys can see, like I wasn't that well trained, you know, but I fought like Muhammad Ali, you know, in that tournament.
Right.
And I'm not gonna say the name of the company because they was really bad with me, with a lot of people not paying them. So yeah, my lawyer's taking care of that already. But anyway, I fought Muhammad, and he's a monster. And I was like training so much, but I could handle him for 15 minutes, like with just movements, you know, just protecting myself and trying to beat him, and I try my best. But because of all these techniques and movements, I couldn't like overpower him. He's way stronger than me.
He's so strong.
So I just used the technique. So that's
He's
the
actually a
real
good
thing.
DJ too.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
He was
DJing for us at ADCC. Our DJ was
No
actually
way.
teaching him how to scratch. He was having a blast.
I
He's all,
saw
screecher.
Yeah, so it's all about, like, I think try to get the whole movement, the details, the mechanics of the movement, you know, understanding is the push, the pull, and how to get under, about, you know, the center of gravity. There's a lot of things, a lot of science behind jiu-jitsu.
I agree, 130%.
Now your new gym. When can we see that possibly opening, or when do you plan on starting?
I was thinking about March, but like I said, I don't want to open the gym and then go back to Brazil and stay there for 3-4 weeks because I'm gonna do a knee surgery.
Yeah, in and out.
Then like, hey, I open and then I'm not here, you know. But that's the plan for March. I believe I'm gonna be able to do my surgery at the end of this month, and then so yeah, end of March probably. Yeah, I hope so.
All right.
Anything else?
No, I'm good. Where can they find? Tell everybody they can find you on Instagram, social media.
So yeah, my Instagram is Tarsis BJJ.
So we're gonna change it back to Tarsis JJ, right?
Or just Tarsis Jiu Jitsu. I'm down. Yeah, let's do it. Let's finish this. American
Let's just be done with this answer, this question.
Just jiu-jitsu.
Bullshit. Yeah. So if everybody wants, I change. Okay, guys, no problem.
All right.
Because you guys said to do Tarsis BJJ, and I did, so I can come back. No problem. I'm open-minded.
We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, for now the Instagram, I'm working on a new website. I have my old one, but I didn't like it put down, so I'm working on a new one. So I'm probably gonna put in my definitely gonna put in my Instagram, so you guys can go to my website and then see what's going on pretty soon.
If anybody's looking for one-on-one training with you.
Oh yeah, you guys
What's the
can
easiest way to
hit
contact
me up through Instagram at Tarsis BJJ TARSIS BJJ. Yeah, for one-on-one or seminars.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait
What
a
would
minute.
go?
Niners or Chiefs before we go?
Man, you know what? Truth be told, I think the Chiefs got the firepower, bro. Like on the offense, I want to say the Niners, but man, Mahomes is Mahomes. If Mahomes has a good day,
This is the thing. If Mahomes
they
has
have a
good
high-powered offense,
game,
man.
with just one player. If he has a good game, they win. If he has a bad game, they lose.
100%.
Okay, now the Niners, they can run the ball,
Yes, they can.
and if they
They
stop
can-
that, then
they
they
can
just
throw.
pass the ball.
Right,
They have
right.
two options.
And their defense is pretty damn good too. So yeah, I agree.
Follow football.
I'm gonna watch actually the game. Is this the final?
American
or something
football,
today?
though. American
Yeah, that one I agree. The ball is totally different, man. They don't use the legs.
They don't use the round
That
one.
makes
Come on.
So okay, let's do the Jiu-Jitsu, American Jiu-Jitsu guys.
I
Can you use
wonder,
the
I, wonder,
only?
I wonder how that
Wait,
actually.
wait,
I wonder how that really happened. How they ended up calling it
What
football.
were you gonna say?
So okay, let's do this. The American Jiu-Jitsu, you guys can use a different gi. It's gonna be shorter. Okay, no sleeves.
The old karate
no
ones
sleeves.
never.
And then you guys can only use the arms like American football.
There you go.
There you
Right?
go. There you go.
Jiu-Jitsu.
No sweeps anymore.
No sweeps. No.
It's
out.
just like
Just-
takedowns and
just upper extremities. That's it.
Yeah, today's the championship game.
awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna be following. Yeah, I like that. It's a nice sport.
All right, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for stopping
No,
by.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Love it.
All right, for today's episode and all of our episodes, check us out at FIVEgrappling.com. We are also live on Spreaker with iTunes, iHeartRadio, and what else?
You're setting this up.
There's like 5 or 6 of them. I don't know. We're all over the place. So, upcoming events that we have, check us out live at FIVEgrappling.com, and we are out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
We would like to thank our sponsors, Five Grappling, FIVE365 Media, Five Forward Foundation, Five Superfoods and Shaved Ice Company, Hono BJJ, and the Fuji Mat Company. Without you, we are nothing. For this episode or any of our episodes, check us out at FIVEgrappling.com or follow us on social media at FiveGrappling. If you're watching this video on YouTube or listening via podcast, don't forget to click the subscribe button below. Thank you for your support. Five Grappling. Compete, evolve. Real people, real stories, real life. Five brand.